So here's another article about plant called pasque flower. This article is from Better Homes and Gardens, a great reference site if in case you are into horticulture or wildflower culture, right? Growing. So let's read this article to learn English. How to plant and grow pasque flower. Easy to grow pasque flower is one of the first perennials to emerge in spring by Lynn McAlpine, updated on May 26, 2023. In this article, where to plant, planting tips, care, pests and problems, propagation. Yeah, I'm interested in propagation. When I was very young child, I used to go to the river or streams to swim in the summertime, and the pasque flowers were aglow everywhere. It can be seen everywhere near the riverbeds, but nowadays almost gone. Very impossible to spot pasque flower. A harbinger of spring, that's good expression. A harbinger of spring, pasque flower, blossoms begin to emerge before the plant's feathery fern-like, hairy, right? Feathery fern-like foliage has fully expanded. So a flower comes first, right? Before the leaves fully grow. Be sure to plant these low-growing plant, low-growing, not high-growing, low-growing plant near the front of the garden border or near on every entryway or patio so you can enjoy its early spring flowers, fuzzy silver foliage, and freely pom-pom seed heads. After the flowers fade and the seed heads fall, enjoy the foliage for weeks in summer. The leaves may die back at the end of the summer, but easy to grow pasque flower is one of the first plants to emerge the following spring. Enjoy the pasque flowers of fluffy seed heads in the garden or harvest them for striking bouquet. Fluffy seed heads, fluffy seed heads, right? Easy to grow or low growing, die back. The leaves may die back at the end of the summer. Enjoy the pasque flowers of fluffy seed heads in the garden or harvest them for a striking bouquet. All parts of fresh pasque flower are toxic to humans. Toxic, right? Dangerous, toxic to humans. All parts of the fresh pasque flower. Pasque flower overview. Genus name, Pulsatilla vulgaris. Common name, pasque flower. Plant type, perennial. Light sun. Height, 8 to 12 inches. Width, 4 to 12 inches. Flower color, blue, white. Foliage color, gray, silver. Season features, spring bloom. Special features, cut flowers. Zones 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Propagation seed. Problem solvers. Drought tolerant. Yes, I remember that. Drought tolerant. Ground cover. Slope erosion control. Slope or erosion control. Drought tolerant. Ground color. Where to plant pasque flower. Plant pasque flower in well-draining soil, well-drained or well-draining soil, and full or part sun. In moist climates or heavy soil, plant pasque flower on sloping beds or hillsides or in raised beds so they have adequate drainage. Pasque flower grows best in northern climates where it receives a prolonged winter chill. In a raised beds, 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 sloping beds or hillside, on a hillside, or raised beds, on a hillside or raised beds or sloping beds. Those are good expressions. Here, sloping beds, hillsides, or in a raised beds, not on raised beds, but in raised beds, right, in. Pasque flowers are the ideal planting partners for early spring bloomers, such as species tulips and wildflower tulips, miniature daffodils, and crocus. Like the early spring bulbs, pasque flower is an invaluable source for nectar for honeybees and native bees that forage in early spring. Plant drifts of 3 to 5 pasque flowers among large clumps of bulbs to create a bold display of nature's early season beauty. Let me read these beautiful sentences. Like the early spring bulbs, pasque flower is an invaluable source of nectar for honeybees and native bees that forage in early spring. Plant drifts of 3 to 5 pasque flowers among large clumps of bulbs to create a bold display of nature's early season beauty. Drifts, that's a verb, right? Drift. Plant drifts of 3 to 5 pasque flowers among large clumps of bulbs. How and when to plant pasque flower? Plant pasque flower nursery plants in spring or early summer. Established plants have a long taproot and are difficult to divide or transplant. Instead, purchase new cultivars from the garden center and watch for seedlings that emerge around established plants. Plant nursery plants in a prepared garden, nursery plants in a prepared garden bed at the same depth they were in the nursery container, being careful not to damage the roots. Backfill the hole and water the plant. Backfill the hole, backfill the hole, backfill the hole, backfill the hole, backfill the hole. Nursery plants. When planting seeds, prepare a seed bed in late fall or sow the seeds outdoors. When planting seeds, prepare a seed bed in late fall and sow the seeds outdoors. Cover them with 1 to 8 inches of soil. The seed will overwinter and germinate in spring. Germinate in spring. Overwinter, right? Overwinter. Hibernate. But for the plants, it's called overwinter. Overwinter and germinate in spring. Overwinter and germinate in spring. The seed will overwinter and germinate in spring. The seed will germinate, overwinter, and germinate in spring. Pasque flower care tips. Light. Pasque flower grows best in full sun or part sun. Best in full sun or part sun. Best grow, we would say under full sun or part sun, but it said in. Pasque flower grows best in full sun or part sun, soil and water. These drought-tolerant plants grow in rich, poor soil as long as it drains well and has an alkaline pH of 7 to 8. If the soil is clay, the addition of compost improves its drainage. Both overwatering and underwatering are problems for pasque flower, but overwatering is the more common culprit. Watering these plants at the base once or twice a week is usually sufficient. Temperature and humidity. Pasque flower grows best when planted in areas with long, chilly winters, and it thrives in northern states. It prefers low to average humidity. Fertilizer. Pasque flower is not a heavy feeder. A single application of all-purpose granular fertilizer in spring is sufficient, following the product instructions. Do not over-fertilize. Pruning. Deadhead spent flowers to encourage additional blooms or to prevent self-seeding. There is no need to cut back the plant in winter. Its dried seed heads and foliage and interest to the winter garden. Wait until spring and then cut it back to the ground right before new growth emerges. Potting and repotting pasque flowers. Yeah, I will read this one later. I have to go to work now. Bye-bye. Pests and problems. Pasque flower is relatively pest-free, although it sometimes attracts black beetles. They can be picked off by hand and dropped in the soapy water or treated with neem oil. What is neem oil? Any problems with the plant are usually related to overly wet soil. Root rot is one to watch out for. Root rot is one to watch out for. That's good expression, man. That's good sentence. Root rot is one to watch out for. Any problems with a plant are usually related to overly wet soil. Relatively pest-free, right? Neem oil. How to propagate pasque flower? The long tap root of pasque flower makes it difficult to divide. Instead, keep an eye on an established plant for any volunteer seedlings growing near the plant. Seedlings can be transplanted successfully while they are young. Transplanted successfully while they are young. Harvest and sow seeds in the fall. Fresh seeds have the best germination rate. Propagate, progenate, right? Germinate, transplant, germination rate. And sowing them in the fall takes care of the cold stratification period necessary for breaking dormancy. Fall takes care of the cold stratification period. That's good professional word, where all the seeds need to experience cold climate before they start to germinate, before they decide to germinate. So it is called cold stratification period for breaking dormancy. Yeah, over winter, right? Winter over winter, dormancy. After the plant finishes blooming and the flowers are spent, the seed head resembles that of a dandelion. After the plant finishes blooming and the flowers are spent, that's good word expression. After the plant finishes blooming and the flowers are spent, the seed head resembles that of a dandelion. Each seed has a feathery attachment. Be vigilant. The seeds are dispersed by wind when they are ripe, unless they are harvested first. Sow the seeds on the surface of a prepared seedbed, or raised bed. We learned that we need, transplant pasque flower in raised bed, prepare the seed bed and convert them with 1/8 inch of soil. Love silver leaf plants. Add more to your gardening using this list. So transplant, seed plant, seed bed, feathery attachment, break dormancy, break dormancy, break dormancy. Germination rate, that's the germination rate. Propagate, seed, when the plant blooms full and the flowers are spent, right? After the plant finishes blooming, after the plant finishes blooming, after the plant finishes blooming. So we have seed head, right? Seed head, the seed head. Types of pasque flower. Alba pasque flower, Pulsatilla vulgaris alba, is a clump-forming perennial that stands only 1 foot tall. It has creamy white flowers and blooms in late spring. The large bell-shaped flowers grow up to 3 inches across. Wow! It combines well with the spring flowering bulbs and is at home in rock gardens, zones 4 to 8. Where clump forming perennial, right? Clump forming perennial. What is clump forming? Let's look up what is clump forming, right? Clump forming bamboo plants have a root mass like normal ornamental grasses, spreading gradually out from the center and never spring up canes more than 5 to 10 centimeters from the existing plant. What is bamboo clumping? Clump-forming bamboos have a root mass like a normal clump-forming plant. Clumpy. Yeah, I can only imagine, and I think my imagination is correct. I'll just skip it and go back to the article. Pasque, Papageno pasque flower, Pulsatilla vulgaris papageno, is a long-time favorite, formerly anemone pulsatilla, that brings an eye-catching mix of creamy wildflower mix, white, bright pink, dark red, and violet flowers to the garden. These fringed semi-double blooms are crocus-like flowers with unique flower shape. Fluffy seed heads provide winter interest, zones of 5 to 7. Fringed semi-double blooms, right? Semi-double fringed. Road glock pasque flower, Pulsatilla vulgaris road glock, also called red bells and red clock, produces large, deep crimson flowers in early spring. It has an extended bloom time of more than 4 weeks and is deer and rabbit resistant. It is an excellent rock garden plant, zones of 4 to 8. Rubra pasque flower, Pulsatilla vulgaris rubra, has wine red, cup-shaped flowers with yellow eyes at the ends of the stems from early to mid-spring. The plume-like seed heads are particularly attractive. Zones of 4 to 8. Plume is yungi, right? Smoke billowing from the smokestack. Plume-like seed, so feathery or hairy seed heads. Pasque flower companion plants. The blooms and foliage of a pasque flower complement many mid and late season bloomers. Sedum. A diverse group of plants, sedum comes in many shapes, colors, and sizes. With so many varieties available, sedums can be found in bloom these 3 seasons a year. Bees and butterflies love the flowers, making this plant perfect for pollinator gardens. On taller blooming varieties, the dried bloom stems add winter interest to the garden. The best part is that sedum is easy to grow and requires very little maintenance. Perennial geranium. Don't confuse perennial geranium with annual geraniums. They aren't even related. There are over 300 species and varieties of perennial geraniums, so it's easy to find one to suit your needs. The plants are short, usually less than 12 inches, although some varieties reach 18 inches, and are ideal for ground covers and border gardens. Lady's mantle. Lady's mantle features dainty yellow flowers that bloom in late spring to early summer in airy masses above the foliage. Initially, the flowers sit above the foliage until they become too heavy and droop down gracefully. The flowers, similar to baby's breath, last for several weeks and are excellent for both cut and dried flower arrangements. Yarrow, not yellow. Yarrow is a classic garden perennial known for its ruggedness. It shrugs off cold winters, hot and humid summers, drought, and poor soils to cheerfully bloom in sunny places. Its tall stems of colorful flowers and fern-like foliage work especially well in a cottage garden setting and in wildflower gardens. Blanket flower. Few other perennials can rival what blanket flower brings to the garden. On top of their visual appeal, the bright cherry blossoms of blanket flowers are a wonderful food source for pollinators. Come fall, small birds also love to pick seeds of spent blooms. Available in many warm colors and even a few cool shades, blanket flowers can make a big statement in a garden. Come fall, right? Come fall. Daylily. What began as a plant with simple yellow and red flowers has changed drastically through years of breeding. Today, there are daylilies with yellow, orange, red, pink, purple, white, peach-colored flowers and with flowers in different shades and tints. More than just the color palette has expanded over the years. Daylilies vary in height and type of bloom, including the long, slender petals of spider-type daylilies and daylilies with ruffled double flowers. Why am I reading other plants? Goldenrod begins displaying its yellow blossoms in late summer and continues into fall. Some varieties feature large flower clusters at the tops of tall stems. Others boast gracefully arching stems holding single rows of blossoms. Look closely and you will see each large, spiky, fleecy, or flat-topped flower head features hundreds of tiny daisy-like flowers that resemble those of aster, a close relative of goldenrod aster. Frequently asked questions: how long do pasque flower plants live? They are very long-lived. We usually say they live long, right? They are very long-lived. Some pasque flowers have been known to live up to 50 years. Wow. They are very long-lived indeed. They are very long-lived indeed. They are very long-lived indeed. What does the pasque flower name mean? The name is derived from the Hebrew word for Passover and refers to Easter, pasque, the time at which the plant blooms. Hebrew word for Passover and refers to Easter, the time at which the plant blooms. Pasque flower. pasque flower. So pasque flower is related to the Passover, whether Jesus died and resurrected, which I don't believe, but that's what they say according to the Bible. And from these articles, we learned many good expressions, like they are really long-lived, transplant pasque flowers in a raised bed or rock soils, border gardens, clumping plant, foliage, red seed head, flirty, feathery, hairy, plume-like, right? Plume. So let's look at plume. Oh, okay, plume. Plumage, man. Sorry, what is plume? Smokestack. Plum, right? Plume. Damn, I'm losing a lot of expressions. I knew this word, but now.
Plume.
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 Plume. Feather, group of feathers, large body of vapor or fluid that expands. Yeah, same thing, right? Expands upwards and outward, like a plume of smoke rising from a fire. Plume. But it also means feather. Feather man. Plume. So that's it. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful pasque flower season, wherever you are. Bye-bye.